Okay folks, well I've just had that nice little 3.5 pound zander on the canal, and just after landing that fish I thought it would be poignant just to point out some of the baits that we use on the canal for the pike and the zander. Obviously you're fishing for a smallmouth species really. Zander haven't got huge great mouths on them, so essentially we're going to be fishing smallish baits on canals and such venues as this. It's not to say that pike won't take these smaller baits either, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a moment, but we've had quite a lot of success on the canal actually in recent times with these chaps at the top, and these are actually smelt. Now a lot of the literature will tell you that zander will not take sea baits. Well, I beg to differ on that one. We've had quite a number of zander on smelt out of the canal, and especially dyed red for some reason. Seems to be a big hit here on the canal, and what we'd do with these, we'd fish half of one of these. You can see they're not overly huge, these, if you look at them in the size of my hand. These are small smelts, they're not massive, but still we'd fish half of one perhaps on some size 10 trebles, or even if it's a tail section, just a single large hook through the tail root itself. Below that, and this is perhaps the key bait for us on the canal, I'm just looking up and checking my floats here because I think I've just had a bob on the one, so I might have to rush off in a minute. But with these small roach really are the mainstay of baits on the canal. These really are tiny little roach, and these are absolutely ideal because they're natural food for the zander really in canal networks such as this. These here we use either again with a single hook through the tail root, they're that small that we can do that, or again 2 size 10 trebles. One perhaps we wouldn't think about using, but nevertheless we've had quite some success on, is trout. This here obviously is trout, and we always take some trout deads with us when we're fishing on the canal. And Pete Mander, actually, many of you may have seen the video on YouTube, actually caught his PB zander, and the biggest we've had from this particular stretch at 9 pound 1 ounce is on a trout dead bait, fishing to the far bank again. So again, another bait worth taking. And finally here on the tray, these little chaps, small sea fish. These are called sprats. I only really started using them this winter, but we've had some success with them, so I'm going to stick with those today and give them a real try out and see how good they do. So that's an overview of the baits. Quite often I would take lamprey with me as well. I would never ever leave home without lamprey, but at the moment we're really struggling to get hold of any in the Midlands, so hopefully next winter there'll be a glut of lamprey and we'll be back on it, because they really are probably the best bait on the canal. So that's some baits then for Canal Zander and pike fishing.